Hello and welcome. My name is Carsten Kümmel. I'm a live sound engineer for more than 20 years and I'm mainly working on film music, orchestral music, classical music, crossover, most of them with huge orchestras and with choirs and bands and soloists in the arenas all over the world. Besides that, I'm a professor for public address and live recording at the University of Applied Science in Darmstadt, close to Frankfurt. Today, I want to talk about this little baby here, the TLM 107. A surprisingly affordable, double membrane, switchable, multi-pattern microphone. Of course, now I can start and it has a frequency range from 20 to 20 and so on, but I want to tell you why the microphone is so amazing for me. And the keyword here is versatility. Let me tell you why it is such a multi-purpose microphone, and that's what it is developed for. First of all, you have a navigation toggle at the backside, and with only one knob you can choose between a pre-attenuation of 0, -6 and -12 dB, which gives you a range up to 153 dB of that microphone with only a self noise of 10 dBA, which can be considered as nothing. And you have a high pass filter, which you can choose from linear, 40 Hz and 100 Hz. And for me, the most important are the 5 characteristics. You can choose between an omnidirectional characteristics, a wide cardioid, cardioid, hypercardioid, and a figure of 8. And I love to work with characteristics. I always think of what can I improve in the right situation with characteristics. But before I give you some examples, I want you to listen to it. Maybe you already heard it and saw it that I'm talking in the rear of the microphone. You see here's the Neumann sign. And of course right now it's switched to an omnidirectional polar pattern. That's why you can hear me. And let me show it to you. Besides that, due to the corona times, I'm in my office and maybe you hear the cooler of my computer in the back. Sorry for that. So now, right in the moment, I'm talking in the rear and I start turning around the microphone. I turn the microphone as well and I keep on talking so that you can have a listen. Now I'm talking in the 0 degrees of the omnidirectional characteristics. And as you can hear, hardly any change. That will be different as soon as I switch it to a cardioid polar pattern. Let's do it. With the cardioid polar pattern, I will start to talk in the 0 degree direction. Now let's move the microphone, and as soon as I reach the 90 degrees, you have a signal level loss of 6 dB, which is typical for a cardioid. Now I keep on turning and I speak to the rear, so 180 degrees, and you hardly can hear me anymore. So let's go back, and then I will switch it to a figure of 8. Now I'm talking in the 0 degree direction of a figure of 8. I turn it and nearly at 90 degrees you will hardly hear me anymore. And now on the back side my voice rises again in level. So you see that's a typical figure of 8 characteristics. Let's go back to omnidirectional. Why do I love to work with characteristics? I want to give you, and the best way to explain it is with examples. Snare drum, for example. Sometimes you have a drummer who plays so loud the hi-hat that you have a very strong crosstalk from the hi-hat in the snare channel. And what I love to do in that moment is I switch the microphone to the polar pattern of a figure of 8, and I place the microphone that way that the sound from the hi-hat comes at an angle of 90 degrees, and you just heard that you hardly have any signal left from that. You really dampen that crosstalk down. And there's another benefit of that. As soon as you switch to a figure of 8, you have a stronger proximity effect. So you can achieve recording the snare with a much more tone. And in the case it is too much, put in the filters. Another example is recording vocals. Recording vocals can be different and differ from song to song you're recording. There are some songs where you have a shouting screamer, a very shouting singer, and you need a large distance from the singer to the microphone. But as well, there are other songs, love songs, for example. What do you want to capture from the vocal in a love song? You want to make it erotic. And how can you make a singer sound erotic? Okay, probably not me, but people who can really sing. Transients. You really need a very good transient response. In this microphone, the capsule has a brand new design, which especially has a very fast and very good impulse response. And due to that impulse response, the transients are very fast. And when I come back to the erotic vocals you want to achieve, what do you want to have? You need these noises. And these noises transport so much emotion which is needed for the characteristic of that song. And therefore, I need a very close distance to the microphone. What do? I switch the microphone to an omnidirectional polar pattern, and then you can come really close, even with no windshield, and you can hear all these small transient noises. Very important for me. And as well, to play around with the distance, have a look at this shock mount, which is optional. There's a reason why it is opened in the front. You can get it much closer, for example, to a guitar amplifier. So very clever made. So you see, I use it on vocals, I use it on snare drums, I use it on drum sets, but I use it on string quartets, in orchestras, classical singers. This microphone is a true multi-purpose, versatile microphone, and you can use it on so many situations. Thank you very much for your interest, and I hope you liked this video. And as well, I hope that you watch my other videos as well. Thank you, see you, bye bye.